The next thing the Lord said is that America will have a war, a huge, massive war with Russia and China. The Lord called it a war for the ages, a clash of kingdoms. The feeling that was coming on my heart was that it will be like massive hippos fighting in a lake, causing carnage and damage. But when the water clears, he said, the smallest hippo will be defeated. And then I had a vision and I saw a vicious law of the jungle fight. So I saw a lake bed and the fight had already started. So it's not like I saw one hippo and then the other hippo came. No, the fight was already on. There were 3 massive bull hippos in the lake and they were fighting that law of the jungle fight. Law of the jungle fight doesn't mean we fight and we rest. We fight and we rest. The law of the jungle states that you will fight until the death. And may the best lion, may the best hippo, may the best wildebeest, may the best black mamba win. There were 3 of them in the lake and 2 of them ganged up on one hippo, and that fight was vicious. They were rising up and smashing each other, goring with those huge heads. And I saw that one hippo, the smallest hippo, had his inner teeth broken during that altercation. They were flinging the water everywhere and they trampled the bed, the lake bed so much that that clear water turned to mud. So instead of water being flung everywhere, after a while, it was muddy water and they kept churning until it was mud flying everywhere. But eventually, the smallest hippo was beaten and he sank into the muddy lake. But that was not enough. The other 2 kept stomping him even when he went down. They kept rising and thrashing him. And I saw that his teeth had been broken and he was trampled and he drowned under the lake. All I will say here is this. There are over 23 prophecies written, each one with a date, on the Master's voice concerning the fact that the Lord said that Russia and China will completely own and control this country. In one prophecy, the Lord said that America is basically going to be like a colony of Russia. What the Lord has always brought out is that America has lived by the sword for a very long time. A very, very long time. So no one should be disingenuous and come here and start to say, but what have we done? What have we done? The only people who are allowed to say, what have we done? You have to be under the age of 15. If you are under 15 years old, you have every right to ask, but Mom, Dad, what have we done? And if your parents are not liars, if they are honest, they don't even have to be Christian. But if they are honest, they will tell you, well, son, we made some terrible decisions and we, the people, supported those terrible decisions. And we said that our boys should do what our boys do best. And our boys went out and caused heartbreak, carnage. They used deception. They used terrible weapons on entire populations like Agent Orange and blowing those people up in Hiroshima. And eventually, all those things, like crows from an Edgar Allan Poe story, have to come home and rest right on the roof of America. The Lord brought up a vision to me from a very old prophecy that I don't think I've made a video for. I may not. But in that vision, when he was showing me how America loves to cover herself with this false righteousness, I remember seeing a young blonde girl and a dark-haired boy, a raven-haired boy, playing as very little children. And God was showing me the history of how these 2 children grew up. They would play childhood games, but no matter what game they were playing, it always turned to games of war and contest. And every time the little blonde girl would say that she was the hero and that the boy with the dark hair was the baddie. If they played cowboys and Indians, she was the cowboy and the boy with the dark hair had to be the Indian. And then she would shoot him with a stick, pow, 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 and then tell him, you have to play dead now. And he would fall on the ground and play dead. They never, ever played a game in which she was not good and the dark-haired boy who represented Russia was not bad. And I saw them grow up and grow out of those games and grow into young adults, maybe 18 or 19 years old. But the girl was still doing the same thing. She still kept telling the boy, you are bad and I am good. And I saw something like a flame, something that looked like a small sun, begin to burn in the heart of that boy from the time he was about 15 up into adulthood. And God was showing me, Celestial, that is hatred. That is being tired with the narrative. And I will say this, a very kind subscriber brought to my attention, because it's always a subscriber that will tell me even if the moon is falling out of the sky, because I will not notice on my own. A subscriber brought to my attention, I think you should check this out. It was the fact that Mr. Putin had made his State of the Nations address a few days ago. And there were a few things that this man said that struck me. I only saw a very short clip, but it struck me because it was the identical words that came out of my mouth in 2019. He was saying that America weaponizes her media to poison the world against his nation. That America constantly wants to set the tone and tell everybody else who they are, what they do that's bad, and how she, the good one, is going to fix it. He said that people who can't keep their morality straight, that people who can't tell what a man is and what a woman is, and people who don't understand that pedophilia is not something to support, and people who don't understand that LGBTQ is not something that builds moral fiber into a community, should not be the ones to tell others anything. And I remember God saying all these. God said in one of these many prophecies of the past that there will come a time in the world where nations like China, Taiwan, Russia, the Ukraine, who will be Russia's ally in the future, many nations of the world will agree and concur that the United States is a cancer in the world. Stare at me and say that I'm anti-American. Stare at me as if these words, I came from church today and then decided, what should I scribble? Now is the time to listen. America, now is the time. God is talking now. Now it's God's time to talk. America has talked and talked and talked and talked and talked, but now God has taken the pen and put it in the hand of someone that maybe you don't feel she should hold the pen, but hold the pen. I am. God is talking now. He said that the time will come that they will come to an agreement by his Spirit. No one is saying that Russia is the greatest Christian nation in the world, but God says that even people like China who are not Christian will agree that what is coming out of Babylon's filthy cup, it's enough. It's enough, because if it's allowed to grow as it already has, and if all the nations drink from it as they already have, Babylon will defile all the nations as she already has. The abortion laws are already everywhere. The bloodlust is already everywhere. Pride Day is already everywhere. The amazement in my mind that Australia, at the rim of the world, would have this day, would have this parade. Are you guys not aware that you're not connected to anybody else? And that if you promote this lifestyle, taking it to its logical conclusion, you will breed yourselves out of existence? Is this lost on you, or just lost on the leaders and those who want to be free-minded and supportive of everything? As I watched this short clip of what this man was saying, all I could think was, great are you, God, for you speak. And then after that, his words come out of the mouth of men who do not know me, have not met me, and were definitely not speaking because they watched a celestial video and thought, why don't I go to the Kremlin and say the same thing? He said it out of his heart, just like God said, that he will put it in these people's heart, that it is enough. It is enough. And these people said that they will no longer be cooperating with some nuclear thing, whatever that is. This I don't know. And yet people will watch this video and say NATO will show them United States. The prophecy is called Dinner at the UN. When Russia and China come here, not a single NATO member is going to do anything. Not Germany, not France. Not a single one of them will dare. Not a single one of them will want what they see happening here to happen to their people. They will utterly not move a muscle to help. The way nobody could help Japan. The way nobody could help Germany in the Second World War. Or was it the first one? I think it was the first one. The way nobody helped Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, and all the other places that I don't know.